Well, this is officially the last video of the year. Today is New Year's Eve, and tomorrow is New Year's Day, which means 2026, here we come. And this morning, I spent some time on the treadmill watching back a lot of my old videos, a lot of my old vlogs. And this is almost 10 years ago, which was really crazy to watch back. And the thing that really started my videography journey, just like so many people around the time, was Casey Neistat. Now, in 2015, 2016, if you're on YouTube, Casey Neistat was pretty much being pumped into everybody's YouTube page. And so I was somebody who was recommended Casey by my cousin. And literally, when I moved to Austin, he was something I was watching every single day. And so the reason I picked up a camera, the reason I picked up a drone was because I wanted to be the Casey Neistat of Austin, Texas. Like, I was new to the city. I wanted to explore everything and experience everything. And I wanted to film myself doing it as well. But two things. One, I was working way too much. I was working two jobs as a coffee manager and as a coffee roaster. And so about 20 hours throughout the day was consumed with just work. And then at the same time, I was trying to work out, trying to have a relationship with my now wife. And so it wasn't really easy being able to document and post all this kind of stuff. But here and there, I was doing a good job of just capturing my experiences and putting them online for people to see. And so that's kind of what really started my videography career, was just me wanting to document my life and my growth in Austin, Texas. But as the years went by, I started getting more and more in love with videography and photography. And so mid 2019, I was actually asked to go full time as a content creator for a glass company in Austin, Texas. And so I was creating everything from their YouTube to their Instagram to their TikTok, all their social media. And at this point, I was learning so much about Gary Vee because this is what he was doing with VaynerMedia and a bunch of the brands that he was working with. And so I just started creating so much to the point where we're able to partner with two other glass companies in the United States. And so I was going from Colorado to Arizona to Austin and just kind of traveling, capturing a lot of these properties that we're doing. But then, like everybody else, 2020 happened and the pandemic shut everything down. And so, because I was no longer with the company and I didn't really know what else to do, I really had to double down on learning videography and learning how to work my camera, which was great because then throughout the pandemic, I was able to pick up jobs here and there to kind of keep us going. But now that it's been almost 5 years since I've chosen the path of a videographer, I really haven't had time to look back and understand why I started doing this. Like, I moved here because I love coffee. I moved here because I wanted to pursue coffee roasting. And I feel like looking back on a lot of my old videos, I miss the coffee roasting aspect of it. But at the same time, videography is now my craft. It's something that I like, it's something that I really enjoy. Like, creating is just another part of me. And so while watching this, I was also looking at what am I going to do for 2026? Like, I'm kind of running on the same operating system that I was back then, like doing content as it comes to me or creating on kind of daily basis or editing on a daily basis and posting. And so I kind of have felt like I haven't had the best grasp on my social media for a while now because I've been blessed to work with so many other brands and so many businesses and so many other clients. But it's been difficult for me to kind of devote time to what I'm doing with Ariel Austin and my life in general. And so watching these videos, I kind of started critiquing myself. And so a few things that I enjoyed, which I marked down on my notebook, which was pros, was one, I enjoyed just all the memories that I captured with my camera. Like, I was able to capture the beginning of my coffee roasting career with Mozart's and then with Austin Java and then with Texas Coffee Traders. I was able to also track my drone career when I bought my first Phantom drone and how that made me feel. And looking back on the footage that I first captured and how I edited and how bad that was, like seeing that growth in becoming a drone pilot to getting my Part 106 license to being able to get paid just to fly drones and make a career off of it. Like, it's crazy looking back on that. Like, looking back on my first office settings or my first, on camera settings and how the lighting was horrible, the audio was horrible, like everything was bad. But I didn't care because what I cared most about was just communicating my life and just being like, hey, I'm going to look back on this 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now, and I wonder where I am then. And so, looking back on that and looking back on that person who was in front of that camera, I'm sure I could have hoped that I would make a career as a creative, but I'm pretty sure that I never thought it was going to be possible because I never thought I was good enough to learn these things or smart enough to learn these things. But the thing that I see throughout the videos and throughout the journey of me pursuing this is that I was just so determined to make it happen. Like I was just so determined to get through the next job and get better and better and better and better. And so it was one of those things that I was just kind of impressed by myself. Like I remember the struggle of like not sleeping for days because I would rather learn my camera specs. I would rather learn the editing on Premiere Pro. Like I remember those nights and I remember like, giving up time with my fiance at the time, again, now wife, for these things and saying like one day this will pay off, one day like this will get me to where I want to go in life. And so it's great now, I'm able to look around in this office and like compare what my office looked like back then to what my office looks like now, or my lighting setup looked like back then to what my lighting setup looks like now, or my audio how it sounds now and how it sounded back then, and just the improvement that I have done as a creative because I've taken this task serious and I've said, hey, like I want to be able to offer this to people at the best quality that I can. And so I need to get better at this. And the better I've gotten, the more that my clients have trusted me, the more that I've been able to work with other people and do other things, which has been again phenomenal because I'm just like, how did I get to work with these people? How did I get to work with these businesses, these brands, these people who are icons in Austin and in Texas? And it's a little old me just filming for them. So that was a pro for me and something that I had to give myself a pat on the back on. So, like I said, it's been crazy just looking back on the last 10 years of how I've grown as a videographer, drone pilot, again, how I got engaged, our kids, like everything. Like I've captured everything in front of this camera lens. And it's brought me so much joy just even watching those things back, which again made me ask, all right, well, then what's going to change for 2026 to make the next 10 years better? Like I was able to be a coffee roaster in less than 2 years. My wife and I got married in less than 5 years, and we had our first kid, and just like life has taken off. And so, looking back at those videos, I remember thinking to myself, I don't know what to say, but I want to say something. And I don't know how to say it, but I'm going to try my best to say it. So the camera, the equipment, the mics, and everything else was just a means of helping me say that better and to a broader audience. And now I feel like I have so much to say, but I don't know who wants to listen, or I don't know if I'm saying it correctly. And I feel like one thing that I admired about myself back then was just the boldness to just say, to just do, to just film, like not care about like, do I have an ND filter? Is this the right lighting? Is this? Like I didn't know. So the not knowing was allowing me to create. And now that I know, I'm so concerned in the little minute things that probably nobody cares about, right? And so it's just again making me evaluate like what do you want the next 10 years to be about, and dream big. Like what is a big thing? Like I said, I feel like I always have small views of what I can do or what I can achieve. And so I put myself to these like limiting beliefs of like, okay, like realistically, let's say this timeline really works. But right now I'm thinking I want 2026 to be a year where I just do big risks, like specifically in our business. Like I want to take on like the big clients that I never thought I could work with, but that inside I know I can because like whatever is given to me, like I over excel, you know what I mean? I go above and beyond. And so I know that whatever task is given to me, I'm going to do better than I even know I'm going to do. And so for 2026, I want to take bigger risks. I want to dream bigger. I want to get bolder in the things that I'm doing. And so I know that's one thing that I just want to change in my mindset is stop thinking that your base is here and start realizing that your base is here, right? I want to have a better self view of my creativity and the things that I can produce because I know that I can do it. And so with that, it comes with even getting better at business. Like, how can I market myself better to the people who need my services? And so with that, it comes with learning my voice. Like, I need to learn my voice better so that I can know who needs to hear what I have to say. And with that, it's also experimenting with the way that I create, like how I share my ideas, my thoughts, and my visions to the world, and doing it for the sake of the creating part and not for the likes, the comments, the shares, or the follows. One of the little things I wrote down was be like Michael, be like Musk, right? Like Elon Musk and Michael Jordan are synonymous with their brands. Like Nike is known because of Jordan, Tesla is known because of Elon. What do you want to package yourself as? Who are you? What do you want to pursue and how are you going to get there? And especially when I look at myself now from when I first started, like when I first started, not knowing anything, I thought I can do anything. And now knowing as much as I know, I'm like, man, can I really do that? And it's so weird how with the less knowledge I had, the more confidence I have. But now with the more knowledge I have, the less confidence I have. It doesn't make any sense, but that's where I'm at right now. And like I said, watching back on those clips and those videos, one brought me joy because it was like, man, look at how far you've come from working those 16, 17, 8 hour, 18-hour days. Like all the time in the coffee shop, on my feet, dealing with customers over and over and over again, and having an hour to spend with my fiance because I was too busy, not just working, but also going to the gym and then also learning how to edit. Um, that was a lot. And now I'm past that. And now I'm on this side. And so I feel like there's a lot that I could not just speak on and teach on in the aspect of like lighting and cameras and business and blah, 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 but also like how do you maintain all this? How do you stay focused and motivated? How do you stay passionate and driven at the times when it seems the most difficult? Because I feel like as artists, that is one of the difficult things is like pushing forward when you don't see a way through, but knowing that there's a way through, knowing that you can get through. But sometimes it gets hard. And so, I feel like, the last few years, but definitely this last year from surviving the car accident and having that be something that just was a wake up call, something that was like, what are you going to do? How are you going to come back from this? And when you do come back, are you going to be a shell of yourself, or are you going to be coming back bigger, better, stronger? One of my favorite examples is like the Black Panther suit, right? The Black Panther suit, the more that you hit it, it would accumulate that and it would just build up its strength so where it gives you like a mega hit. And I feel like that's what life has been this last year is just constant hits. But it's either one, you're gonna let those knock you down, or you're gonna let that build you up to the point where you're gonna strike back with a stronger punch than you even thought you had. And so I say that because I don't know what 2026 looks like. I just watched the video back and I was talking about like 2019's over and I'm excited for 2020. And then 2020 was the pandemic, right? So I don't know what 2026 has to offer. I just want to give 2026 all I have. Like, if 2026 is the last year that I'm alive, I want to say that I emptied the tank that year because I was tired of the things that I left on the table on 2025. And so, but when it comes to the content creating side of things, I just want to make sure that 2026 is one of those years that I took it even more serious. Like I said, I feel like looking back in the last 10 years of my content creation, like you can see gradual steps as I've grown in my videography career, and definitely when I started getting paid for it and devoting more time to it, you've seen just this long jump of just the way that things have gone. But I want 2026 to be a year that I'm satisfied and content with the content that I was putting out and the risk that I was taking with my content. And so 2026, I don't know what you have to hold, but I do know I'll see you tomorrow. Until next time, catch you on the flip side. Peace out.